Well, that one fucking sucked. Hey everybody, welcome back to Miami Minute. Whew. That was a bad one. That was not good. I'm wearing my Jarvis Landry jersey. This is the closest thing I have to a Jacoby Brissett jersey. Last week was a victory Monday. This is just a misery Monday as the Buffalo Bills came into Miami and just clapped some cheeks. They knocked Tua out on the second drive of the game. They ended up winning 35-0. Largest margin of victory for the Bills in this rivalry, according to Wikipedia. Who knows if that's correct? I assume it is. I don't see why they would lie about that. In the Sean McDermott era, the Bills have really had the Dolphins' number. They beat the Dolphins both games last season, including a 56-26 victory to close out the season and eliminate the Dolphins from playoff contention, which not great. Hey, but at least they play the Dolphins on Halloween this year. So if you want, to scare people, just probably put on the game because that's going to be terrible as well, most likely. So this week, there isn't much to say about the offense. I mean, Jacoby Brissett came in for an injured Tua, and he went 24 of 40 for 169 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 very ugly interception. Both quarterbacks were under pressure all game. I mean, I'll say Brissett did a better job at avoiding the pressure than Tua. Obviously, Tua got knocked out, so he did as about as bad a job as you can do. But what can you really say when there are people just running completely unblocked at the quarterback, getting free shots? So just very ugly. Also adding to the misery of the game, Devontae Parker dropped a pretty good pass in the end zone that would have been a touchdown early in the game. Not really what you want to see later in that drive. Jakeem Grant, while trying to fight for a first down in the red zone, fumbled, ending the scoring opportunity. I don't know if he got hurt on that game because he didn't come back in. And then we had Jalen Waddle returning punts, and he muffed a punt and then picked it back up and then fumbled it again, which was, really good. Just what you want to see out there. It was ugly, plain and simple. The biggest thing, of course, was the O-line play. We talked about it last week. The O-line was bad, and then this week it was even worse and got Tua hurt pretty much immediately and prevented Brissett from really looking comfortable the entire game. And I've seen people online complain about drafting Waddle with the third overall pick when Penei Sewell was there. But, I mean, the Dolphins haven't not invested in, the first few rounds. It just looks like they haven't hit on any of those picks. Jesse Davis really had a terrible game yesterday. Austin Jackson, not much better. Liam Eichenberg, who I thought played decently against New England, did not play great in the second half this week coming in for Jesse Davis. So, not great. And quite frankly, if they can't get it together, I mean, next week's going to be another test against an Oakland team who applied a lot of pressure the first 2 weeks of the season. There's really no hope for the Dolphins in being contenders. They might beat teams that can't get a lot of pressure on the quarterback, but I mean, that's when you get to the playoffs and when you play the better teams in the AFC, they're going to be able to generate pressure, and it's not going to be good. And it could, the next game against the Raiders really could be just a disaster waiting to happen. The defense, for their part, played well after giving up 2 quick touchdowns. They created turnovers. They stopped the Bills' momentum very often. Xavier Howard played pretty well against Stephon Diggs. You're not going to play a perfect game. Stephon Diggs is probably one of the best receivers in the league. He did kind of give up, kind of lost his shoe on a touchdown against Diggs, but for the most part, he played well. He got an interception, nearly had another one, proving that he's worth every penny the Dolphins have decided to pay him. But ultimately, the offense was getting nothing done. They weren't establishing long drives. The Bills were able to add 2 touchdowns late as the defense was just completely out of gas, so made the score even more embarrassing. This was just a sobering outcome as a Dolphins fan. I always say that I don't expect much, and if I expect anything, I just expect the worst. Because of my nearly 20 years of fandom, they've consistently been disappointing. But this time, I bought into the optimism. Perhaps it was because it was so early in the season. Perhaps because they played pretty well last season, and they were able to get a W against New England in New England. I thought, hey, this could be the year the Dolphins really turn the corner. And then they just got completely embarrassed once again against their rivals. And I think that made the loss hurt even more, because if you don't have any hope, the losses don't really hurt. And I fell into the trap of having a lot of hope for the team this season. So I'm probably not going to be as optimistic going forward. I'm probably just going to try to be more realistic, try to take it game by game. And maybe the Dolphins will sneak into the playoffs, but I don't really see them having a lot of success if they make it. Perhaps this is an overreaction. I'm sure you'll let me know in the comment section down below. I just can't see how the Dolphins are going to compete with the big dogs in the AFC. Las Vegas has defeated the Ravens and Steelers in back-to-back weeks. So if Miami beats them next week, maybe I'll be more optimistic. I don't see that happening. So you hate to kind of like lose it after one game to just kind of throw everything out the window, but this one was ugly, and I think a lot of Dolphins fans probably agree with me. If you do, or if you don't, please leave a comment down below. Love to hear from you. Thank you so much for checking out this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, maybe subscribe. We got plenty of NFL coverage coming at you almost every day of the week. Plus, we cover the NBA and NHL on this channel. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers so we can get that custom URL. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you in the next one.